What is up, fight fans? Welcome back to Picking a Fight. I'm Latch.
I'm Jeff.
And today we're going to be looking at UFC 276, Adesanya versus Cannonier. We're going to be looking at the co-main event between Alexander Volkanovski and Max Blessed Holloway. But before we start, don't forget to like the video, subscribe if you haven't. We're actually putting out videos for almost every fight night and pay-per-view, and there's a lot of great fights coming. So if you don't want to miss out, go ahead and subscribe. And yeah, let's get right into it. What you think, Jeff?
Yep. So we got the champion Alexander the Great Volkanovski. His record is 24 wins, 1 loss. He is 33 years of age. He's 5'6", 71.5-inch reach. His last 2 bouts were back-to-back wins against Chan Sung Jung, the Korean Zombie, and Brian Ortega. And he's going up against the number 1 contender, Max Blessed Holloway. His record is 23 wins, 6 losses. 30 years of age, 5'11", 69-inch reach, and he's coming off back-to-back wins against Yair Rodriguez and Calvin Kattar.
Yeah, so this is the third fight. Alexander is 2-0 against Max. The first time was to win the title, and then the second one was to defend it. The odds are still relatively close, -180 for Volkanovski, +155 for Max. Yeah, I mean, we saw how the first 2 fights were so different from each other. And, I mean, both guys are willing to evolve and kind of improve. They've been improving their games. Both guys are still pretty young. Max just turned 30 in December, and Volkanovski is 33. So both guys are still in their prime. I think they're obviously the 2 best in the division. I mean, we've seen that Max went back to fight Yair and Calvin Kattar and won those pretty solidly. And then Volkanovski has defended his title against Ortega and Zombie, other staples of the featherweight division. And so I think these guys are head and shoulders above the rest of the division. Yeah, I mean, I liked how Max improved in between his fights, but I just think Volkanovski in both fights was able to make adjustments during the fight. And I think that's actually what won him that second fight. That's why he was able to turn around after having some pretty bad opening rounds. He got dropped in the first and second round, but he was able to win rounds 3, 4, and 5 to win the decision. So I really like how smart Volkanovski is. I think his fight IQ is really high. I think he's able to make the adjustments as they're happening. And Max was able to do that in between fights, but he wasn't able to do that during the fight. And so I think that would be like the biggest factor. I think because I honestly think we're seeing both guys get really like a little overhyped by the media from their past 2 results. Max had a historic showing against Calvin Kattar, right? But he was basically like the antithesis of everything Calvin Kattar does bad against pressure and volume. And Max is the epitome of pressure and volume, And so he put on a historic beatdown against Calvin Kattar, and then against Rodriguez, it was a little closer, but Max was still able to get through. He was able to utilize his volume and pressure still. And then Volkanovski, like people have said how his boxing has improved, and it has improved a lot. I think it looks a lot more crispier. I think he's a lot more comfortable throwing his combinations, and he looked like Muhammad Ali out there against the Korean Zombie, right? And he looked really good against Ortega too. Guys that are bigger than him, have bigger reaches, and he was able to really like outbox them, right? But I think too much value is being put into that because those guys are not strikers. I mean, Ortega literally, he didn't know how to box until he took that long hiatus, came back, beat Zombie, and then got the title shot. He's not really a really good striker that people make it seem to be, right? Same thing with Korean Zombie. He's not a technical striker. He's more of a brawler. He throws his punches in loops. So Volkanovski was obviously able to be more technical than them, and he obviously put a lot of pressure on them too. So he was able to kind of gain the upper hand. But I don't think he's as good as a boxer as Max is, or a striker. I mean, right? And I think he has gotten better. I think he has closed the gap. But I think it's just Max is more natural, and I think we're actually going to see that here. How Volk is not going to look, his striking is not going to look as well. Either guy's not going to look as great as their last 2 fights, right? Because they're fighting a step up in competition against someone who matches them, I think, a little better. Because I think they matched up really well against their past opponents, and it's made them look like beasts for real. And I mean, they are good.
I mean, to be fair, I mean these are the
1 and 2, yeah.
I mean these are like the top 5. Basically.
Yeah, what I didn't know is both guys are on the pound for pound ranking.
What, Volkanovski and Holloway?
Max, yeah. Obviously, Volk is higher. I think he's like 3 or 4, which makes sense. And then Max is still like in the top 10, I'm pretty sure. So I mean, these guys I think are good, man. Like are the best of this division, no doubt. I think obviously there's some young guys coming up, but like from these top guys, I mean, we've seen them basically take turns on these guys. I mean, Max never fought the Zombie, but we can imagine how that fight goes,
Yeah.
and both guys beat Ortega pretty handedly, in their own way, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So both guys are really good. Max is not really a power fighter, like we said. He's more volume, volume over power, and good pressure. And yeah, but I feel like he hasn't closed a lot of holes in his game. Most notably, like his legs. Like his legs are always a target, and he never. I don't know if he doesn't know how to check them, or it's like a pride thing, or he really means it when he says that it doesn't hurt him. But it just doesn't look good,
Yeah.
I feel like he lost the first fight to Volkanovski because he was just eating the shots instead of trying to defend them or avoid them. And the second fight he did a little better, where he was trying to avoid the kicks, and he would check one every now and then. But as the fight wore on, like he started, I feel like, to revert to like his first fight. Like he started off his the fight really narrow, like really with a really high stance, and then as the fight progressed, he like started to like split his feet more, and he came lower and lower. And Volkanovski started to gain steam, and that was the same stance he took when he fought him the first time. So I think there are a lot of adjustments to make for Max coming in, and I hope he really fixes it, because I feel like Volkanovski has the edge. Like, even though I don't think he's the better boxer, I think he's way better at mixing it up. He's like Usman, he's not a great striker, but like the way he puts everything together makes his striking dangerous, right? Because if not, he'll take you down and stuff like that. And so I think Volkanovski is just overall the better fighter. I think he has the better wrestling. I mean, Max has some really good takedown defense. But I feel like if Volk really tried to, I think if he was consistent with it, he would take him down and probably hold him down maybe. Yeah, and Volkanovski, obviously, he's not going to have to worry about the shot, I don't think. We did see Max shoot against Yair, but I don't think he's going to shoot against Volk. I think he wants to keep this fight standing. And I think Volk is going to kind of keep it standing, but every now and then shoot, take down, try to steal some rounds like that. And yeah, I just think Volkanovski has looked better. He's improved better. Max's camp I think that he has some good coaches with him, but I just think City Kickboxing is like on a different level right now. They had a fighter this past week, Carlos Wilberg. He just knocked some dude out. And then they got, I think, 3 or 4 fighters fighting here. They got Rydell. He's the main event of the prelims. Adesanya, and then Volkanovski. So Eugene Behrman, he really knows what he's doing. That being said, Holloway by knockout. I think I'm gonna go with Holloway just because that's my favorite fighter. Ride or die to the end, bro. He's probably gonna lose. My brain, everything points to Volkanovski, just because I just feel like he's just shown to make the adjustments in between fights and then during fights, and I think that's gonna be the key. Where I feel like I haven't seen Max do that yet, where he makes the adjustment. Like, he does pick up on things during the fight, but he doesn't like really like turn it around like 180. Like I've seen Volkanovski do it a few times now. Brain says Volk, but obviously my heart says Max. So I'm gonna go. I've had a ticket on the Blessed Express since it started running. So I'm gonna stick with it until the wheels run off. So I'm gonna go Max by decision. But if I had to bet, I mean, the odds are really close. I do think it is a close fight. I don't think Max is like dead in the water or anything like that. But I think Volk should win this fight. But I'm gonna stick with Max. Root with Max.
Dang, that's crazy. I mean, yeah.
What's crazy?
I mean, it's the same. Like you kind of want to root for Max because of his personality, his style and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like you said, Volkanovski. I mean, he has shown improvements during the match, and I do think that's gonna be the difference in this one as well. But Volkanovski said that he knows Max has a strong chin. But he said it has to give.
Yeah, that's true. It will one day.
It will one day, but it ain't anytime soon.
Bro, I've been telling people. I know I sound like a hater, but Volkanovski does not have the power that people think he does.
I think Cater has more.
Well, yeah, I think so too. I think Cater has more power than both these guys, for real.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I mean, Volkanovski doesn't really like knock people out, but he does fight good, or well, or whatever. I don't know what the proper way, but. Yeah, he doesn't have the power to, I think. Unless he lands a sneaky shot. I don't see him cracking Max's chin. But it does. It will give someday, bro. But I don't think it'll be this Saturday.
Nah. I mean, the thing that scares me a little bit that kind of makes me lean a little more towards Holloway is I think he might have a more aggressive approach because his last 2 fights went to decision and he lost that decision. And I mean, he almost finished Volkanovski. He almost finished him twice in the second match. So maybe he might just want to, be more aggressive and get him out of there. Not
Yeah,
leave it to
that's
the
true.
judges. But
The
I
thing,
don't.
Volk deals well with pressure. I think we saw that in their first fight, where he literally didn't let Max press him, like push him back, and that was largely due to the leg kicks. And then the second one, the now it started off reverse, where Max like started off pressure like from the get go, and was able to really hurt him early. But then as Volk got his game plan going, Max was not able to do that. So Max really does have to be the one pushing forward the entire time. But now I think Volk has a lot of confidence right now in his striking. So I don't think he's gonna take a step back for real.
Yeah, that's true. And we've been doubting him. Well,
You.
well, a lot of people have been doubting him. I feel like
That's true.
like people, especially after he won the belt from Max.
Yeah.
They didn't like that, and then after that, I think it was his style or something that they didn't like back then.
Well, the
right?
first fight was first to be honest, he got his title shot kind of fast, so people didn't really get a chance to kind of like Max had like 10 fights before his title fight, so people knew who he was when he fought for it. But with Volk, he kind of came like he rose really fast, and when he got his title shot, not a lot of people knew who he was. And then he did win every round, but it wasn't like he dominated. It was low key kind of a boring fight, and so people didn't like that. And then on the rematch, I mean, it didn't look good for him either because he got hurt bad in the two, and then a lot of people think Max won. So it was like that. But like that's why his last two fights, I think it did him really well to take a break, not take a break, but like kind of branch out. Because I mean, his last two fights, he's garnered so many fans, man, because he has been able to kind of like show like what kind of fighter he really is. And I feel like when he first came out, like he's a new PS2. Like when he first got into the limelight, his personality was kind of bland. I felt like he was trying too hard, I think, to be like proper. And then now I feel like he's relaxed a little more, and he's like super chill. His YouTube channel. Shout out to his YouTube channel. he be cooking like a whole bunch of really good stuff, bro.
Right.
Yeah. So I think it's that like his personality was like also not complimentary to like a really bad or what people thought was a bad or boring style. But now I think both guys got a lot of hype. Their last two fights were crazy, man. Like the Ortega fight was not close, bro. People think it was close, but he dominated. And then against Zombie, he dominated. And then Max, the one with Yair was pretty close in my opinion. And then the Cater fight, he dominated. Both guys are really good, bro, and they're coming full steam ahead.
But if you had a rank like these, like Yair and Calvin Cater, I think they're better than Brian Ortega and Jensen. The Korean Zombie.
Cater, yeah, I think so too. I think Brian, like I said, like Brian actually is like right now he's scheduled to fight Yair, and I see Yair winning that. Like obviously I need to do some more research and tune in we're gonna do videos for that fight, so we're gonna do a little more research off the dome. I think Yair wins just because I think he's an overall better fighter stylistically. Also,
man, it's so tough. It's super close. You could go either way. I think I'm gonna go with Max just because the last two fights I think were a higher caliber than the one the two Volkanovski has fought against.
Yeah.
I think he has fought the better fighters. Yeah, I think he has fought the better fighters. So I think maybe he matured that way. I think Volkanovski, I think he did get better. The whole, he has shown a lot of progress from his whole, last 5 fights. But I think Max Holloway has the potential to take him out, and I think he might this matchup. But I also see Volkanovski using the wrestling more, especially when he gets into trouble. So it could really go either way. But I'm gonna go with Max Holloway on this one. By
Copying me, right?
No, by knockout. My bad. TKO.
By knockout.
TKO.
Like it'd be interesting to see if Volk is the one pushing forward and applying the pressure. If Max is willing to move back, and who would win those exchanges? Because Volkanovski, even though he's not as powerful, I think as people think, he still I think has the power advantage compared to Max. And so it'd be usually power triumphs and makes you step back, but he's willing to get hit. So it'll be interesting. But yeah, there you have it. We both think Max is gonna win. I think he wins by decision. Jeff thinks he wins by, you said knockout?
I think he'll win by TKO. I think
yeah, that's crazy, bro. That's crazy.
Man.
But yeah, we both think it's a good fight. My brain actually tells me Volkanovski, but I've been a fan of Max forever, so my heart says Max. My brain says Volk, but I'm gonna live by the sword, die by the sword. So I'm gonna stick with Max by decision. I do think it's gonna be a close one. He has to win this, I think, to even, I don't know if he'll get a 4th title shot, but yeah. So I got him by decision. Jeff got him by knockout, which is crazy to me, but okay, to each their own, I guess.
But let us know down below what you think. Do you think Volkanovski dominates Max, or do you think it's a really good close fight? Do you think Max regains his title back? Let us know down below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe if you haven't. We're putting out videos for almost every Fight Night pay-per-view, so go ahead and subscribe. And yeah, it's gonna be a great night of fights. Don't forget to tune in. We'll see you next week for RDA versus Fiziev. And yeah, see ya.
Yep. See ya.